It's time for another exciting episode of the Joshcast. So, the theme for today's Joshcast was written and performed by the world's third worst beatboxer, Sanders Sanderson. Thank you very much for being here, Sanders. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's really it's an honor to be here on the Timcast. It's a Joshcast. Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. Right. Sorry about that. Sorry. It's been a bit of a week, you know. Hey, at least I'm not the worst beatboxer, you know. So you gotta find the positive. Yes, I was gonna ask about that because you that's how you're billing yourself as, well, not the worst beatboxer, and that's what attracted me to you, right? The self-deprecation. I thought, oh, this seems to fit with the theme of what I'm trying to accomplish in my podcast, and I wanted to know what. I mean, I guess I assumed a little bit that it maybe was a bit of a joke, but no, it's no joke. I don't work on my craft at all. I mean, what you just heard is about as good as I can do. On a good day, I've got some rhythm. Constant 1-star reviews. On everything. Yeah, it's really but I'm not the worst. Is there who judges that? There's an association. An association of beatboxers. Yeah. The National Association of Beatboxers. The NAB. NAB. National Association. All right, I did not know that. Where does this association meet? Oh, in a warehouse underground. They have a lot of beatboxing battles. That's sort of how the president is determined. It's just kind of a battle royale, and the last one standing becomes the president. For a year, the second place beatboxing champion becomes the vice president. The third place becomes the treasurer. Fourth place becomes the secretary. And they come up with lists of the best beatboxers and the worst beatboxers, and I was not the worst. That's what I want your listeners to know. I was not the worst beatboxer. Okay, who was the worst beatboxer? Jeff. Okay. Does he have a last name? No, he doesn't. He's just Jeff, the beatboxer. I mean, do you want to hear it? I'm not sure. Yeah, you'll hear it. I think once you hear it, you'll tell that I'm not the worst. Okay, let's. I've got a sample of it on my phone. I'll play it for you. All right. Well, here's Jeff, the beatboxer. I've heard that the only people who like Jeff are the people who run the estate for Sam Beckett. All right, I think this has been a great interview. Thank you so much for being here. That's very informative, and I wish you the best of luck with your beatboxing endeavors. Okay, yes. So that happened. I don't know, I'm worried I'm becoming too silly in this podcast. Throwing out suggestions like, for instance, it would be great to see a Yiddish predator. Oh no, here comes the predator. Too silly, perhaps. But am I revealing anything? Am I revealing emotional truths about myself through the silliness? I dare say I am not. I don't take criticism well. Let's start there. I really don't. I don't like being criticized. I don't like being wrong. I don't like being criticized. Perhaps it comes out of a desire to be perfect. Because if I am perfect, then I am not. There's no way I can be criticized. Of course, perfection is impossible, and I think the other thing too. Here's the other thing. Perfection is like if perfection were possible, I would have finished that sentence, and it would have been a perfect sentence. It would have been a perfect point, and people would have gone, "My God, this podcast is worth listening to. I shall share it with my friends. I shall post about it on my social media platforms." And in a short amount of time, I would be a god. Maybe that's how God became God. He had the most podcast listeners. Highest social media numbers. Wouldn't that be something? There are no other gods before me, translates to any other god has at best 1,000 followers. I've got 9 million. So there's no other god before me. Bubbala. But I'm feeling very frustrated because I am feeling judged, and I am feeling, and I don't trust people. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust what people tell me because I certainly lie all the time myself, so why would I expect anyone else to be honest with me? Is it true that I lie all the time? Not all the time, but yeah, I a lot of times, certainly about how I feel. Can't be honest in social situations, in most situations. How I feel is 85% of what I do in a day, I don't want to be doing. Oh, poor baby. First world problems. Well, that's the reality of the situation. 85% of what I'm doing in a given day, I don't want to be doing. But I have to do to survive in this society because it beats the alternative of living as a savage caveman with no social group, fending for himself. Well, I've been a savage caveman now for nigh on 10 years. And it's paradise. It really is. When I see something I want, I take it. If I encounter someone, animal, plant, whatever, that bothers me, I kill that animal, plant. I've never been happier. I feel 100% fulfilled. Now, some of my civilized brethren would call me an absolute savage, sociopathic, psychologically inept killer, and to them I say, But yes, we cannot be cavemen. We have to be civilized people. I don't know what to... What I find hard is I have an emotional reaction to something that someone says to me, and I feel like I just have to suppress it. Because if I actually share how I really feel, 9 times out of 10, it's not considered mature. I would cry or I would scream. 85% of what I do in a day gives me the impulse to cry or scream. But I can't go around just being that. The only way I could go around being that at this point in my life is if I were powerful enough to be allowed to do that. I'm not going to name any names, but it seems to me that the people who are powerful get to feel whatever they want to feel in front of anybody. But I do not have that luxury. I have to be politically correct. And I find that taxing. I find that aggravating. But what is the release? Where can I get the release? By doing this podcast. It reminds me of the podcast of Dorian Gray. Dorian Gray, who is polite and civil when dealing with people in social circles, but then in private, in his podcast, he becomes the worst human being you can possibly imagine. Saying things like, I don't care about your lawn care. I actually really don't care about lawn care. I think lawn care is stupid. I think it is stupid. And whenever I've tried to talk about this on stage, people pull back. And I do not understand why. I sit there and I look at a perfectly cut field of grass. And I think to myself, that is a waste of time and money. Over there in this field that's not being kept up, there are all these weeds. And I feel like the weeds are looking at us going, hey, we can do that for you. You don't need to do all that. Why is lawn care such a thing? Why? Everyone hates the sound of a lawnmower. Nobody likes that sound. Nobody wants to mow the lawn. The people who want to mow the lawn are the people who spend 85% of their day doing things that they hate doing. And mowing the lawn as well. I can appreciate my lawn. Is that all there is in life? Appreciating your lawn? I can't stand lawn care. I cannot stand this idea of it. It looks stupid. It perfectly cut grass. What are you trying to say? That you have mastered nature? You have not, good sir or madam. And I have the earthquake / hurricane / tornado / wildfire to prove that your mastery of nature is on par with my mastery of flirtation. Give me a good, unkept lawn. That's what I want. Tall grass. You don't know what's in there. You have no desire to step in that lawn. Who knows what you're going to step into. That is a lawn. A perfect square of reality. That's exactly what that is. It's a visual representation of the hostile and indifferent universe. Of the bold and fabulous and terrifying beast that is nature. You don't know what is going to come up in an unkept lawn. Anything could come up. Short grass, dandelions, the other kind of dandelions, the yellow dandelions, the white dandelions that when you blow them, maybe it's the same dandelion. I don't even know. That's how much of an unknown you're dealing with. I hate lawn care. I hate it. Perfectly cut bushes. Bushes that have been cut into a perfect square. Hedge mazes. Hedge mazes. There's a reason why the climax of The Shining took place in the hedge maze. Because those things are freaky. You know what I like to do to relax? Sit in the middle of a hedge maze. There's nothing more relaxing than perfect symmetry. Than knowing that an army of people working barely minimum wage, below minimum wage perhaps, an army of slaves, has made this a garden paradise for me to sit down and enjoy, so that I can pretend to be a god, and then proceed to die in 6 months from the plague. I cannot tell you how much I hate lawn care. I cannot tell you. I hate the concept of it. It is... You know, lawn care is embarrassing to me. Because I just have a feeling an advanced alien species would just be walking around looking in a suburban neighborhood going, they know that the forest can do this for them, right? Yeah, well, why are they doing this? Well, because a bunch of people who are middle class are trying to pretend to be upper class. But why would they want to be upper class? The upper class, no one on this planet seems happy. We know. We know. You're perfectly willing to, you're more than willing to talk to them. But I enjoy tending my garden. I enjoy it. I enjoy the process of it. Being one with nature. I enjoy managing I enjoy planting things. I enjoy being with my garden. I enjoy cutting the lawn. I enjoy just being outside, enjoying it. It's the simple, quiet things in life that I enjoy doing. Well, I don't enjoy doing that kind of stuff. I would rather just let my garden and let the lawn just kind of go. Well, as part of the housing association, we're telling you that you're not allowed to do that. Your lawn has to be well kept, or you'll be getting letters, because it lowers the property value of our house, because we want our houses to be as expensive as possible, so that people who can't afford bigger houses will have no choice but to buy this house, which is still a little bit out of their price range, but they're going to do it anyway. And that way we can get the maximum amount of money from selling our houses, so we can buy a slightly bigger house, which is still not as big as we would want, and then create a lawn in that slightly bigger house that is our attempt to replicate the Palace of Versailles lawn, so that we can feel like we've accomplished something, when in reality, deep down, we feel empty and cold, and we haven't really made amends to the important relationships that matter to us. And at the end of the day, we die unfulfilled. That's what's happening here, so you got to get on board with that. There's a lot of resentment in today's podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by resentment. Because why actually try to improve your life? Just hate it. Oh. That's my answer to Nike. I want an athletic sportswear that's an answer to Nike that is the opposite message. Don't do it. Instead of a check sign, it's a minus sign. Just a minus sign. And on the back it says, stay home today. Just stay home. Lawn care is strange. I'm not going to give up on this lawn care thing. I'm not going to back down on this. It's strange because of all the effort that goes into it. All the work that has to be done, the time, the money, the effort. And what is the goal? What is the accomplishment? To walk by a beautiful lawn, and for the person who created that lawn to say, I have my stuff together. I guess what's the message of a lawn? I don't know. All I know that is if I ever own property, I don't want a lawn. I do not want a lawn. I want whatever is supposed to grow there in the climate where I'm living in to grow there. I just want to walk up to the patch of land and say to the land, listen, you know what you're doing better than I do. I'm a Jew from Aurora. You've got this. You handle it. And then the weeds will go, thank you. Thank you. I don't even like the term weed. It's a derogatory term. Why? I looked up. Why is it called a weed? Oh, because it's any plant that you don't want there. Well, that's a horrible term. I will I will beg the indigenous flora and fauna to exist as it should. Nothing gives me more joy than seeing a place that's run down, or something that's out of business, or a mall that's out of business, and no one's keeping it up, and the weeds start to grow up through the cracks of the cement. And I just feel like that's nature saying, yeah, I think we all know who's boss here. Oh, you think you're so powerful? Really? You think you're so powerful you're going to build a mall here and it's going to last forever? Really? Well, I've got something I'm going to throw at you. The 1980s economic system. Boom. Recession. Boom. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to take back my parking lot and turn it into a nice greenery. Notice how I can make things grow as Mother Nature without having to sit and curse in the backyard. Because I'm trying to plant this rare, exotic rainforest bush in the middle of the Great Plains. This is way too emotional. No one should be this worked up over weeds. Sorry, I don't like the term weeds. I prefer to use the term Native American plants. Is that too far? Actually, that's a perfect name for what it is. I hate to say it. Native American plants. These are weeds. No, they're not. They're the plants that are supposed to be there until you came along with your condo. Native plants and flowers. That is what they are called. Weeds. Bah! Kind of like how, marijuana is called weed. Oh, you're smoking weed. Smoking weed, are you? I'm sorry, you mean the naturally occurring thing in nature that is apparently healthier than 99% of prescription drugs? Is that what you're talking about? Is that what you mean? Yes. Weed. That is what we shall call it. Weed. I don't know why I'm like an advocate now for native flora and fauna. Do I connect with it, perhaps on some level? Yes, maybe I do. Wild and untamed. Like my hair is getting longer. And now people are commenting on the fact that my hair is getting longer. And I have to comment on it. Because it's at odds with the status quo of most haircuts. So once again, if I don't want to do what everyone else is doing, I need to hear comments on it. And I think the comments are not necessarily malicious, but I do feel that the undertone of a comment about, oh, your hair is getting longer, I feel the undertone is, this is not the will of the tribe. Bring the tribal leader here. This boy would presume to disregard the sacred traditions of the tribe of beatboxers. It must not be, sir.